In this video I'm going to show you how to build this incredibly simple and swift setup sunshade shelter that's also surprisingly sturdy. Right, that's enough alliteration for one video, so let's get serious. I'm also going to use this as an excuse to show you why I absolutely love tarps and I suppose almost some of the theory behind it and how as you use them and build them and get used to it, you start to understand how the guy lines and everything start to interact. If you're wondering what this weird bivvy thing is that I am setting up, it's actually a hammock, and because it's got that built-in bug net with those flexible metal poles in it, it actually seems like it's going to be a really useful bug-free, bug-proof zone to, I don't know, set up a bivvy in or sleep in beneath a tarp. Anyway, I'll figure that out as I go along. I've also got my simple Alpkit Hunker XL bivvy bag with me for illustrative purposes. So what we're going to do first of all is build the simplest of shelters. We're using a small tarp here, 2.8 by 1.5 meters if I'm correct, so no mega sort of structures are about to be built with all sorts of flaps and doors and everything. Right now we're going to start by building the simplest shelter, a lean-to. Of course, normally you would start by building the shelter that you actually wanted to build, but because, like I say, I'm trying to use this as an excuse to build really basic shelters and give you the simplest possible examples of the versatility of tarps, even with something as humble as a lean-to shelter, I'm hopefully, not going to bore you too much as we rapidly go through some basic setups. So I've added one single peg to the two rear corners of the tarp that are going to be attached to the ground. Now I'm extending my trekking poles to their usual height, which is roughly 125 centimetres, and as I prop up that first corner, look, there's a massive problem. That's too steep an angle. Whereas at this height it would be ideal as a windbreaker, what we want is more of a nook that we can hide beneath. So we're going to lower that front trekking pole, as you can see, lower the other one to match it, and suddenly we've got a bit more of a deep lean-to shelter. Of course, the hammock has that raised bug net, so it appears a lot bigger in the sheltered area than if I was just lying there in a basic bivvy bag, for example. But the point you can see here is that even something as simple as a lean-to shelter, by raising and lowering those trekking poles or sticks that we could be using, we can alter its purpose and its utility. Higher up, if we were sat up doing a bit of cooking, it's going to offer us an excellent wind breaking property. We'll see more of that in just a second. Lower down like this, it gives us more direct overhead coverage from the sun or rain. And as you can see, it's just flapping around a lot there, but I just so happen to have one guy line attached to that central loop on the back. And as you can see, if we come up to a very windy quarry area, it's amazing just how much of a substantial windbreak a shelter like this can be. So with the relentless wind here, to get myself a bit of shelter to cook my pasta, I've had to peg out all of the appropriate bits of the tarp. But with that wind pushing and pushing and pushing, obviously it almost gives itself a certain shape and structure, a bit like a sail as you can see, with the pegs and the guy lines all pulling in the correct direction, opposing the force of the wind. This is probably a good moment to mention that you can see in this incredibly windy environment how solid that tarp is, whereas in some of these clips back in the plain field on a sunny day, it's actually blowing around quite a lot, and that's because I've had to build the tarps with the wind facing into them, almost the exact opposite way, because I need the sunlight in a certain direction so it all shows up correctly on camera. So the final, most basic principle of tarps that I want to mention using this simplest of examples is what I always say in my tutorials, and that's don't worry about trying to make the first pitch exactly right. Just get it up and get a basic shelter in position, and then because of that infinite customizability we've been discussing, you can simply go around and tighten up the guy lines, slightly alter the position of the pegs, and look at this, as if by magic, even in this example before your very eyes, we've got rid of a lot of that wobble of the tarp. Anyway, I don't want to protect myself from the wind, I want some overhead protection from the endless beating sun of the new type of summer we seem to be having in the UK. So, what I'm going to do here is add an extra pole to those rear corners so they no longer go directly down to the ground. So what I've done here is simply removed the bottom section of my two trekking poles. Of course, if you were doing this out in the woods, you could simply just use sticks and maybe even hang some of these corners from trees and branches, depending on what you've got available surrounding you. But here we're keeping it nice and simple in a plain field with my trekking poles now in four separate pieces. So, of course, I had to readjust the guy lines to fit the lower front end. And what I'm doing here now is taking two extra guy lines and attaching them to those rear corners of the tarp because, of course, those were previously pegged directly into the ground. So I'm not sure what the actual accepted general name for this kind of shelter is. I often call it a marquee just as a bit of a tongue-in-cheek humorous name because it makes it sound like a grand venue has been set up rather than just a tiny 2.8 by 1.5 meter tarp in a field. But as you can see, what I wanted to do here is keep it nice and low profile. So, of course, if we were sheltering in this overnight, it's going to protect us from rain directly overhead. And here in the daytime, it's also going to be offering us a decent amount of direct shade from the sun overhead. Of course, when it gets to sunset and so on, the sun's going to be angling in directly from the side. So, it's not going to be a foolproof setup, and that's where you might even want to go back to the simple lean to, depending on the wind direction. So, what you're seeing here now, again, is the most rudimentary basic form of this shelter, where I've just got four guy lines, I've got four pegs, and two trekking poles broken into four pieces. I've deliberately got it slanted towards the back, as you'll see here, and don't worry, we are going to really tighten this up. This is all part of proving the point, like I say, of why I love tarps and how useful they are, and how you just slowly develop and figure out these best setup practices. So the reason I've got that slope though, that slant towards the back, is because if we were in there overnight and it was raining, you really want to try and discourage a lot of water from pooling directly overhead, which could happen a lot easier if all those corners were held at the same height. So what I want to point out here is I consider that very dangerous. A spike sticking upwards with guy lines around that you could easily trip over or not see in the middle of the night. So I would definitely cover up anything like that, either with the rubber feet that come with a lot of trekking poles, or maybe with a bit of bunched up clothing or socks, or even take a bit of cork with you. Just anything to just soften it and try and take away that brutal solid spike pointing upwards. So what you might be able to see here is I've added a guy line to the front central loop and the rear central loop, and I'm adding one to the central loop on either side of the setup, just to try and illustrate that this may seem like a good way to try and tighten this up, but yet look how wobbly the whole shelter is. We've managed to remove some of that wobbling and flapping of the tarp itself, but we haven't made it a very solid structure. Don't get me wrong, if it's not windy, if there's not a chance of something coming along or us accidentally bumping into the shelter, then this would probably do for overnight, as long as it's not going to be interfered with. However, what we really want is something a lot more substantial, I'd say. We want to feel like we're in a solid shelter that's not potentially going to fall over if a fox comes to investigate the situation. So you can see, like I say, a lot of wobble going on here. I wonder what would happen if we added a second guy line to the trekking poles at the corners. Spoiler alert, this shelter is about to improve dramatically. So you can see I'm just adding an extra guy line to that rear pole to start with, just so we can have a direct before and after. And you can see, as simple as that, just an extra guy line, nothing fancy. And even without any of the other poles being touched whatsoever, suddenly it feels a lot more sturdy. So I wonder what would happen if we did the other three corners. And to really prove a point, I'm also going to entirely remove the guy lines going to the central loop on the four sides of the tarp itself, so it will be entirely supported by just the corners. And as if by magic, I'm going to edit my way through this process and cut straight to when it's all done, because there's only so many times you want to watch me tie and untie everything. And look at this, even before we've had a close up look, how solid, how straight, how flat, how much more professional and proper, dare I say, is that shelter looking? Never mind appearances, how does it feel? And look at that, immediately, very obviously, a lot more solid and secure. And it's important to remember, and this is part of what this video is all about, is showing you the actual practical application of just something as simple as placing the guy lines and pegs and what they're attached to. We've still got the same amount of guy lines and pegs attached to this shelter. It's just that we've moved them all to the corner rather than having them spread between the corners and the sides. And look at that one at the back. That was the really wobbly one we were using to illustrate how wobbly it was. And now, my goodness, it's a really good example of how solid it is. And of course, with everything raised up, we've got nice airflow through, we've got nice shelter and shade. You might hear the dog snoring in the background, I do apologise. And we've got that little bit of headroom, a lot of clearance between the hammock bug net and the tarp above. So if we did have excessive condensation on that tarp for any reason, it's not going to be coming into contact with the bug net and all falling down on us, hopefully. But you can see here, if I was using this as what I would normally have as my setup with a basic bivy bag, maybe a hooped bivy bag if I'm feeling luxurious, we've really got loads of room and loads of space to lounge about in a decent bit of shade from the sun. So hopefully, by doing this very simple series of shelter setups and rebuilding it a couple of times, you've been able to see just a little glimpse at some of the techniques and the hints and the, like I say, just that learned sort of experience that you get when you're playing around with these things over time. But now I think I've talked quite enough at you, so I'm going to rapidly throw everything back into my rucksack and clear off. And I suppose I'll just leave you with a final few thoughts. Firstly, I'd like to say a tremendously big thank you to all of my supporters, whether that's PayPal, Patreon, YouTube channel members, Facebook subscriptions, and so on. I cannot thank you all enough for the support. As I always say, I'd like to thank everybody just for watching these videos. Your time is the most valuable thing you have, so thank you for spending any of it with me. I'll leave some Amazon affiliate links to some of the items used in this video in the description, so if you buy through those, then I will get a commission, so it's a great way to support these videos if you are looking at buying something like this anyway. And I suppose at this point, the only thing left for me to say is thank you very much for watching. Keep it interesting, keep it tarp worthy, have an absolutely fantastic day, and of course, my friends, farewell.